Okay, children, today we will do Asleep in the Valley, written by Jean-Nicolas Arthur-Rimbaud. Arthur-Rimbaud himself, he was born in the year 1854 and died in the year 1991 at a very young age of 37 years. He started writing poetry at a very early age, and by the time he was 19 years old, he stopped writing altogether. And later we come to know that he was very fond of traveling, and he traveled 3 continents as a merchant, and he ultimately died at the age of 37. So in this poem, Asleep in the Valley, he uses a symbol. He uses a symbol of a boy who is sleeping in the valley, but he symbolizes something else. What he symbolizes is the ravages of war, how war can destroy young lives. Through the picture of a very beautiful valley, and where the boy seems to be sleeping, everything seems to be very serene, everything seems to be very calm and beautiful. But ultimately, we come to know that the boy is a victim of war. So he tries to use this symbol to tell us that war indeed is very, very destructive. It not only destroys lives, it destroys nations and has the capability of destroying mankind also. So here in Asleep in the Valley, he uses the sonnet form, which is the Petrarchan sonnet form, which is also called the Italian sonnet, which consists of 8 lines, which is called the octave. The first stanza consisting of 4 lines, and the next stanza consisting of 4 lines, and the sestet then consisting of 6 lines or 3 lines each. So we will read the poem first, and then we will try to understand the poem line by line, and then what the poet is trying to actually say, we will discuss that after we finish the explanation. Okay, so we will read the poem first. Asleep in the Valley by Jean-Nicolas Arthur-Rimbaud. A small green valley where a slow stream flows and leaves long strands of silver on the bright grass. From the mountain top stream the sun's rays, they fill the hollow full of light. A soldier, very young, lies open-mouthed, a pillow made of fern beneath his head, asleep, stretched in the heavy undergrowth, pale in his warm, green, sun-soaked bed. His feet among the flowers he sleeps, his smile is like an infant's, gentle, without guile. Ah, nature, keep him warm, he may catch cold. The humming insects don't disturb his rest. He sleeps in sunlight, one hand on his breast, at peace. In his side, there are 2 red holes. So after we have read the poem, now we will go back to the poem and we'll try to understand the poem line by line. Asleep in the Valley. In the first stanza, the description of the valley is given, and we can see from the first stanza that it's a very picturesque valley, a green valley where a river is flowing, and that picture is given over here. A small green valley. What kind of valley? A small green valley. So you can have an imagery of the valley. You can form that picture that it's indeed a beautiful valley. What kind of valley? A small green valley where a slow stream flows. The stream seems not to be in any kind of hurry. It is flowing very slowly. What kind of stream? A slow stream flows. A small green valley where a slow stream flows and leaves long strands of silver on the bright grass. So, the stream itself has left a trail of silver. It is reflecting against the sunlight, and the grass is looking very bright against the sunlight. From the mountaintop stream the sun's rays. So, a valley, is a place between two mountains. So here in the picture, we can picture the sun streaming into the valley. The rays falling on the valley and making the valley very bright. They fill the hollow. Hollow here means the valley itself full of light. So we can have this kind of imagery where the valley, a stream is flowing. The valley seems to be lush and green, and everything seems to be beautiful and wonderful. That is the picture in the first stanza. And we come to the second stanza. A soldier, young, very young, lies open-mouthed, a pillow made of fern beneath his head. So who is lying there in the valley? A soldier. You can see the picture of the soldier who is lying there. And the soldier seems to be very young. And he is lying open-mouthed. He seems to be in deep rest. He seems to be resting. And he seems to be in a peaceful rest. A pillow made of fern. So he's resting his head among ferns. The fern seems to be, very comfortable for him, and he's resting his head on ferns. The ferns beneath his head. A pillow made of fern beneath his head. Asleep. He's in deep sleep. He seems to be in deep rest. Who is resting? The soldier is resting. Stretched in the heavy undergrowth, he seems to be so relaxed that his whole body is stretched. And his body is relaxed, and he is resting on the heavy undergrowth. The undergrowth here means the bushes and the plants. So he seems to be resting on the bushes and the plants. He is resting. Pale in his warm, green, sun-soaked bed. So here the description of the bed is given. Which bed? The bed where he seems to be lying. What is the bed? The bed is the undergrowth. And the pillow is the fern. Okay? So he seems to be resting in what kind of bed? A warm, green, sun-soaked. Sun-soaked here means the bed warmed by the sun. But he seems to be here. We have a notion that how can a person who is sleeping in the sun be pale? What is the meaning of pale? It looks whitish. So we get a small hint of what is going to happen in the next stanza. Okay, why is the soldier taking such a deep rest? This word tells us what to expect in the next stanza. So now we go on to the third stanza now. This was the octave. We had a picture of a soldier who is resting on a picturesque valley. And then we'll have the conclusion here. Why is he actually resting over there? And why he seems to be in a deep rest? We will have a look at the sestet now. His feet among the flowers, he sleeps. So his feet also seems to be resting among the flowers which look very lively and beautiful. And he's sleeping, enjoying his rest. His smile, he seems to be smiling. And his smile is like an infant who is a small child. His smile is like an infant. So what is the smile of an infant like? A smile of an infant, we know, is very innocent and pure. So his smile is so pure and innocent, without guile. Without guile here means deception, where you can harm others. He seems to be harmless. His smile seems to be harmless, right? Nature. Then he addresses the nature, the poet persona. He addresses the nature. He requests the nature. Nature, keep him warm. He tells nature, he requests nature to keep the person warm, to keep the soldier warm. Why? Because he may catch cold. The soldier may catch cold. So that is why he requests nature, please keep him warm. Don't let him catch any kind of cold. The humming insects don't disturb his rest. There seems to be insects flying everywhere, making buzzing sounds. But yet, the person, the soldier, is in such a deep sleep that he seems not to be disturbed by the buzzing sound made by the insects. He sleeps in sunlight, one hand on his breast. His hand is resting on his breast, at peace. He seems to be at peace. Now, one question to you: when we are at utmost peace? Well, we have that answer in the last line. In his side, there are 2 red holes. So ultimately, here we find out that he seems to be in everlasting peace because the soldier is dead. The soldier is dead. And what has caused his death? 2 red holes here signify bullet wounds. So he is a casualty of war. We now find out that the soldier is a casualty of war. He has been killed by war. So now we go back to the first line now, and then we understand that this is an irony. The whole soldier is a symbol of the destruction that is caused by war, the ravages of war, and how war can be a butchery of young boys. So now we will try to analyze it again. We will see over here. The green valley has been described, and the soldier seems to be lying open-mouthed. So now we understand he is lying open-mouthed because he is dead. He is lifeless. That is why he is open-mouthed over here. Okay, and he's lying over there. He is pale. Again, we come to know he is pale because there is no blood in his body. Life is gone out of his body. And even the sun, we see the sun here also. We see the sun in the first stanza also. The sun is streaming down the valley. Here also, the sun seems to be warming his bed. But yet, the sun, who is our protector, who is our nourisher, he also cannot revive him. That is the ultimate truth that we have to face. Death is the ultimate truth. So even the sun cannot revive the young soldier. And then we go on to the next line and we find that he is addressing nature here. He's addressing nature and telling him, please come on, don't let him catch cold. So this is an example of irony over here, where he's actually telling, please try and preserve him. But we know that after death, decay is for sure. Right? But here he has so much love. The poet shows so much love for the soldier. He feels for the soldier because he has died very young. It has been, a futile life. That is why, war is called futility, useless. Why? Because young lives are lost, just like the soldier who has lost his life just now. And the humming insects also cannot disturb him. Why? Because he is resting an eternal rest. He is at peace. Why? Because he has been shot. He has been These are two red holes signify two bullet wounds. So now, having finished the explanation, we will try to understand what kind of questions may come from this text. We know that you have several kinds of questions. One is the multiple choice questions, the other one is the short answer type questions. For those questions, you need to go line by line. What kind of questions? Can you describe the valley in one line? A small green valley. What kind of stream flowed? A slow stream flowed. Are you getting my point? You have to go line by line and you will find the questions. So your job is to make as many questions as possible taking each line. All right, then you can, after preparing yourself, after you frame as many questions as possible, then you will not forget the poem. Okay, then the other type of question that may come is the longer version, where you may be asked from a certain line, and then you may be you'll be asked to explain what it means. Say, for instance, I'll give from here, nature keep him warm. Okay, who says this? Why is he saying it? Okay, why should he be kept warm? These type of questions may come. Okay, his feet among the flower, he sleeps. Who is sleeping? Why is his feet among the flowers? Okay, these type of questions may also come from the poem. All right, so that's it for today.